There is a mountain range on Earth that no human has ever seen. Not because it's remote, not because it's dangerous, because it's buried under 2,000 meters of solid ice. It has peaks reaching 2,700 meters. It stretches hundreds of kilometers. We discovered it in 1958 using Soviet radar. We still haven't looked at it directly. That's just one of the places we're going to try to explore today, in 1 week. Let's see how that goes.
What if now? What if your dog could talk? What if we walked on the moon for our morning walk? What if all the traffic lights were always green? What if now? Oh, what if now?
The obvious first answer is satellites. We have hundreds of them in orbit. Google Maps covers the entire planet. Problem solved, right? No. Satellites see the surface. What they capture is the roof of the planet, the Amazon canopy, the ice sheet, the surface of the oceans. Everything underneath? Nothing. A satellite sees through 4 kilometers of ice about as well as a security camera sees through a concrete ceiling. And even on the surface, the maximum commercial resolution available today is around 30 centimeters per pixel, meaning an animal the size of a dog is invisible from space. A cave entrance 20 centimeters wide, invisible. Thousands of plant species completely indistinguishable from up there. We feel like we've seen everything because we have an image of everything. That's not the same thing. It's like saying you know someone because you've seen their LinkedIn profile picture. So no, satellites solve nothing. We have to actually go. Land covers 149 million square kilometers of Earth's surface. To explore it all in 1 week, divide by 7 days. That's 21 million square kilometers per day. An explorer, on foot, covers roughly 30 kilometers per day in difficult terrain. We'd need 700 million people moving simultaneously. That's the combined population of Europe and the Americas. All of them, outside, at the same time, walking. We're assuming they volunteered. We're assuming a lot of things. Drones seem more efficient. A surveillance drone covers about 50 square kilometers per hour. For 149 million square kilometers in 168 hours, we'd need around 18,000 running continuously. Logistically tight, but not completely insane. Except flying over something isn't exploring it. Under the Amazon canopy, drones see nothing. In 2013, researchers accidentally discovered an uncontacted tribe in Peru while flying over a zone that was already mapped. They were living there. Nobody knew. The area had a name. It had a color on Google Maps. They probably didn't care. Current estimates put the number of undiscovered land species between 7 and 10 million, according to the IUCN. At the current rate of discovery, it would take roughly 1,000 years to catalog all of them. In 1 week, we'd walk past several without even noticing. Right, land is already complicated. But we forgot something. 71% of the planet. The oceans cover 361 million square kilometers. Today, roughly 20% of the seafloor has been mapped at high resolution. The rest we know about as well as the far side of the moon. Actually less. The far side of the moon is 100% mapped. To map the seafloor in 1 week, you need submersibles. A crewed submersible descends at about 5 kilometers per hour. The Mariana Trench reaches 11 kilometers deep. The descent alone takes over 2 hours. Same for the ascent. That leaves about 3.5 hours of useful exploration per dive. There are roughly 30 submersibles in the entire world capable of reaching serious depths. 30. To cover 361 million square kilometers of seafloor in 1 week, we'd need approximately 300,000 operating simultaneously. We don't have them. We probably never will. For reference, the entire US Navy operates 68 submarines, which means they're only 299,932 short. I'm sure they're working on it. At 11 kilometers down, pressure reaches 1,100 times atmospheric pressure. Current submersibles have acrylic viewports 15 centimeters thick. They creak under the pressure. The engineers say that's normal. The pilots say they trust the engineers.
In 2012, James Cameron spent 3 hours at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. He described a flat, silent desert, but the cameras picked up long, regular tracks in the sediment. Something is moving down there. We still don't know what. We won't have time to find out in 1 week, but the oceans are still the accessible part. It gets worse.
Oh, what if now?
Krubera Cave in Georgia is the deepest known cave on Earth. It drops 2,197 meters straight down. The expedition that first reached the bottom in 2004 took 3 weeks. 3 weeks to descend, explore, and come back up. 1 cave. In 1 week, we wouldn't even reach halfway.
And Krubera is a cave we know about. Estimates suggest hundreds of unexplored karst systems exist worldwide, some potentially deeper. Underground networks stretching dozens of kilometers beneath entire mountain ranges. At 4,000 meters depth in known caves, explorers have found complete ecosystems with no sunlight, spiders with legs 30 centimeters long, translucent fish in underground pools. For anyone who already thought regular spiders were too big, that information was free and non-refundable.
The problem with caves is that the moment you descend with equipment, lights, and modern microbes on your skin, you've already changed the environment. Exploration partially destroys what it discovers. That problem is even more extreme a little further down. Under Antarctica, 4 kilometers beneath the ice, there is a lake. Lake Vostok, sealed for 15 million years, cut off from the atmosphere, from light, from the rest of the living world. Russian scientists spent 30 years drilling down to it. 30 years. Our deadline is 1 week. Looking back, I'm not sure why I framed this as though it was still on the table. To reach it in 1 week, we'd need to drill 570 meters per day. The fastest industrial drills advance at around 30 meters per day through Antarctic ice. We'd need about 20 of them running in parallel without interruption on the same spot. The heat generated by that aggressive drilling would warm the surrounding ice. Unstable pockets of water would form. The drill could fall into its own cavity. It's happened during far less aggressive operations. And if we reached the lake, contact with outside air would contaminate an ecosystem sealed for 15 million years. Bacteria found in existing samples have DNA sequences that match nothing in any known database. They evolved in a parallel world. Introducing modern microbes would cause irreversible contamination within days. Beneath Antarctica also lies the Gamburtsev mountain range, an entire mountain range with peaks reaching 2,700 meters, never seen by any human eye. Discovered in 1958 by Soviet aircraft using radar instruments. Since then, studied by remote sensing only. To physically explore it, you'd first need to drill through 2,000 meters of ice, then descend into caverns whose structure and stability are completely unknown. Spaces large enough to fit entire stadiums inside, according to radar surveys. In 1 week, with current technology. This isn't a logistical constraint, it's a physical one.
Oh, what if now?
Beneath Antarctica also lies the Gamburtsev mountain range, an entire mountain range with peaks that took 15 million years to preserve Lake Vostok, by accident. We'd destroy it in 4 days if we actually tried to see it. Earth isn't unexplored because we lack the means. It's unexplored because some places don't survive our curiosity. What's still out there is what we haven't touched yet. That's it.